Everybody, Steve Prusbrowski here. Welcome to tip number 70 in the series of 101 tips to ace your promotional exam. As a reminder, my website, code3firetraining.com, has a lot of great information. Check it out if you haven't done so. Also, this series is based on my latest book for fire engineering, books and videos. By now, you've heard that to nauseam if you've been paying attention. So, moving to the next screen. Hey, in some of the previous tips, tip 69, we talked about subscribing to at least one fire service publication, such as Fire Engineering or Fire Rescue Magazine. Tip 68, we talked about attending at least one fire service conference every year, such as FDIC, the Super Bowl event every April. Now, tip 70, I want to talk about subscribing to at least one fire service related email list. So let's talk about some email lists. One of the benefits of subscribing to an email list is that you get spammed. No, just joking. That's the drawback of email lists, is sometimes finding that right balance on their end of what to send out, what not to send out, because in today's world of information overload, the amount of emails any one of us gets on a daily basis, yeah, it's hard to keep up. I totally get it. But this is your career. And if you're an officer, one of the responsibilities you have is obviously not just an officer responsibility. Every one of the fire services responsibility, stay up to date, stay in tune with what's going on. But especially if you're an officer, you have an obligation and a duty and a responsibility to be that mentor, be that leader, be that one that helps basically prepare their personnel for the future, prepare and train their replacements to succeed them at some point. So one of those responsibilities, I think, is sharing information when you have it available. To me, the best email lists are listed right here in front of me. Obviously, if you go to fireengineering.com, you can put your email address in, and there's a number of different ones they offer. Some are daily emails, some are weekly, some are periodical. Firefighter Nation, which is Fire Rescue Magazine's branch, they also have an email list. I mean, there may be some similarity, but some slight differences too between what Fire Engineering and Firefighter Nation / Fire Rescue Magazine sends out. Now, the third one, firefighterclosecalls.com. Billy Goldfeder and Gordon Graham have put that together and hosted that for years. Now, it is amazing when I share information like this. Now, when I teach classes, I always try to share stuff like this because it is amazing how many people don't subscribe to email lists, don't subscribe to magazines, don't go to conferences, don't really get exposed to much of what's out there, which is just amazing. But hey, it is what it is. It is amazing how many people, when I mention the name, like, hey, how many of you have ever heard of firefighterclosecalls.com? And you get people doing one of these looks, it's sort of like when your dog does one of these looks at you, and you're going, WTF? And WTF is not well-trained firefighters aware of the fire. It is what you think it is. It is amazing when people go, firefighterclosecalls.com? Never heard of that before. And then I'll sort of say the next thing. You ever hear of Gordon Graham? Well, I know he's retired CHP, California Highway Patrol captain that does a lot of teaching and leadership training that in the fire service and is applicable to the fire service. People go, okay, I don't know him. Okay, maybe I understand you don't understand Gordon Graham or who he is. Then I say, okay, how about Billy Goldfeder? Who? Deputy Chief Billy Goldfeder, Loveland Sims Fire Department? People are still doing, who the hell is that dude? The dude with the walrus mustache, I mean, you can't miss him. Sadly, there are people like that in today's world. And I don't mean that sadly, it's just my point of being sad is that whether you like the guy or guys or people, whoever I'm talking about in these tips and suggestions or anybody else is talking about, it doesn't matter if you like them or not. It's a matter of understanding and knowing the fire service legends. And I say legends, I mean, legends can be in all ranks. I mean, legends, those people that have been around the fire department, that have been published in fire engineering multiple times, speak at FDIC, speak around the country. These people that are the leaders of the fire service, regardless of rank, regardless of where they're from, what size of department. It's just amazing when people don't know the names to faces. That's fine. You don't have to like them, but at least know who they are because, you know, Firefighter Close Calls sends out valuable information related to training, safety, you know, good stuff, not so good stuff, good information. Now, some of you probably, even though most of you have probably heard of closecalls.com, many of you probably have not heard of dailydispatch.com. Dailydispatch.com is hosted by the Western Fire Chiefs Association, and you can sign up for free emails Monday through Friday during the business week. You'll get one email a day around lunchtime typically. Well, you can choose what state you want. So like I live in California and I actually choose California, but I also choose a separate email for Nevada, Washington, Nevada, Arizona, only because they're adjacent states. And I want to stay in touch with what's going on. I mean, I don't want to subscribe to all 50 states. That's a hell of a lot of emails, but they provide statewide emails. They provide a daily email Monday through Friday of statewide stuff. Like for California, there may be anywhere from 1 to 5 or 6 news items specific to California: the good, the bad, the ugly, good news, happy ending stories, not so happy ending stories that relate to everything in the fire service. And they also have not just statewide stuff, but nationwide stuff. So they'll usually have a handful of news items you can click on. So very time well spent. Check it out if you haven't done so. There's also other email lists like the U.S. Fire Administration, which oversees the National Fire Academy. Okay, if you've never been to the National Fire Academy, you're missing out on a treasure. I mean, once a year, they'll pay for you to fly out there or reimburse you for mileage, cover everything to be out there for 2 days up to 2 weeks, once a year. It's a great, awesome resource. Sadly, many people don't even know about or take advantage of. Every one of us in the fire service, regardless of our rank, regardless of where we're from, regardless of size of department, should be taking advantage of that one free federal government funded, your tax dollars, trip every single year. So check it out if you haven't done so. Twice a year, they announce application filing periods. Usually, I think it's like October 15th to December 15th, like the next, whatever, 6 months, and then April 15th to June 15th for that following period. Twice a year, it's like clockwork. You can go online right now to the U.S. Fire Administration, specifically the NFA website, and they'll have their scheduled classes for the next year and a half, and you can plan ahead. But they also do email lists. So U.S. Fire Administration, there's a number of different ones you can check on to related to training, safety, and everything else to supplement what you're already hopefully getting from the other things. Now, the benefit of obviously subscribing to email lists will keep you up to date, but also provide you with valuable info you can and should share with others. Meaning, if you're a fire officer, when you're on your days off, I hope you don't, health, wellness requires a personal, professional, on-duty, off-duty balance. When you're on the job, obviously be all in. When you're off duty, enjoy that time off duty with your family and everything else. But there's still a way to stay engaged even off duty that doesn't require a lot of time by staying up to date with things that pop up in your email lists. And you know what? I would think when you're on your 4-day or your 2-day or whatever your department does for time off in your normal shift schedule, that when you come back to shift, you should be able to, hey guys, when you come back, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You've already checked out your rig. The PPE is on the rigs. Now you're at the kitchen table, having your breakfast, that morning meeting, talking about the daily plan. To me, that's that time when that company officer or that battalion chief comes out there and say, okay, guys, hey, make it a 10-minute, a 15, 20-minute training session. Hey guys, you see the firefighter close call email about those 2 firefighters that were killed in whatever, Chicago or Boston or Timbuktu, rural America yesterday? Your crew's eating their Cheerios. No, didn't catch it. Well, hey, let's briefly talk about that. Let's, obviously share respects for our fallen brothers or sisters. Here's some lessons learned that came out. Or, hey, here's an email that came out about XYZ. Maybe there's an issue, a good thing or a not so good thing that happened in whatever department. That's the benefit about staying in touch. And when your crew, because they will say this at some point, well, that'll never happen here, or that's only big city stuff, or that's only rural America. We're career, not volunteer, or vice versa. Something that happens in one department, odds are can and will at some point happen in another department. So don't put your head in the sand thinking that whatever happened in whatever part of the country won't happen at your department. That's why, to me, a good leader is always not holding the cards tight, but sharing the information with their personnel to help build them up, bring them up, inspire them, motivate them, and hopefully challenge them to be the best that they can be. So there's lots of good email lists out there. I shared a few with you. I encourage you to just really go down rabbit holes. Again, be careful of information overload, but again, there's a lot of great ones that'll keep you up to date with what's going on and maybe keep you ahead of the curve so you don't look like the clueless idiot. Because the last thing you want to do is be that person when your chief comes by or your captain comes at you and say, hey, did you guys hear about that firefighter that died in whatever department? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. I don't pay attention to that stuff, Cap or Chief. On my 4-day, it's my time off. Well, okay, that's fine if you don't pay attention to your 4-day, but now you're back on work. So if you're there for 24, 48, whatever your shift is, stay engaged. But sadly, many people just choose to stay within their box, within their lane of whatever. If their department doesn't share it with them, their training officer or their captain or their chief, then they'll never know about it because they don't give a shit. Well, that's fine, but you know what? We're better than that. So be the best you can be, encourage others for the same. As always, thank you very much, everybody. And until the next episode, be safe, and we'll see you soon.